Wow, my session was, it was very emotional, but it was very personal to me. I talked about my son, who was diagnosed with a rare disorder at 11 months old. And then in short succession, 4 years later, my nephew was also born with a rare disease. And really kind of the struggles of finding a clinical trial and then, supporting them through each and every one of those clinical research, programs that we signed them up for. And talking about what do we need to consider when we're putting together our trials, when we're looking at caregivers being involved.
So my presentation was about patient recruitment and specifically looking at trends in the trial designs that managed to meet and exceed their enrollment targets, and seeing the kind of trial descriptors and study designs that they're using to achieve that.
Pharmaceutical companies do embrace innovation, but it is so hard for our organizations to really fully adopt and fully leverage these new approaches. But there is a stakeholder that is highly motivated to do just that, and it's patients, especially as patients organize and find one another online. And we've been able to identify example after example where patients themselves have hacked clinical research and tackled challenges around funding for research, around basic science, around patient enrollment, data capture, and so on. And when we stack these examples together, we can start to see futures where patients themselves could be the next developer of new medicines.
We've seen what has been a recent push in the industry for inclusion in different clinical trials, but it's always been there. And there's always been an issue and there's always been a need. And the way that we really recognize this, and what we really recognize about it, is that there is a common need across the entire spectrum. So there's a need not only for your pharmaceutical companies to get better data, better information, there's also a healthcare delivery need as well. And that's something that mobile research, that is something that home visits, that's something that community research really tries to bridge that gap and create this level, because the individuals that are not getting this, it might be in research deserts or something of that nature, they need the treatments that can be provided through research at the same time that the major companies need the information and the data to better describe the molecules that they're doing.
So diversity, as many people have already stated, diversity is not a new challenge, but it is one that is receiving more and more focus over the past 30 years, and especially for the last 10 years or so, you're starting to see, NIH, FDA, everybody is jumping in to ensure that sponsors are recruiting more diverse populations. At the end of the day, you want your population that's contributing to your study to also match the disease population that is going to be taking your compound afterward. So we have really made a push to expand clinical research to groups that for the last few years have not been as represented. So we're moving into rare disease. You're moving away from people that necessarily live within a 20-mile radius of the site. And so we're extending the reach of clinical trials to communities that would not otherwise have had the opportunity to engage.
Even though we have a lot of technological advances, we still have patients, and we have to meet patients where they are, and we have sites, and we have to meet sites where they are, and we do need that infrastructure within the sites. We need study coordinators, we need data entry people, because we still don't have just independently running trials without people at the site level and then without our participants. So everything has to be very intuitive and easy